Hi friends, this is Anna with Scrapping, Stamping, and Stuff, and in today's video I'm going to introduce you to Stampin' Up's new Flowering Cactus product medley. So what a product medley is, Stampin' Up considers it a kit. It includes all of the products shown here, which I'll explain in a minute. But it's different from our other kits because most kits come with pre-planned projects and pre-cut pieces to make specific projects that they show you in the instructions. Product medleys are different and they're great for all of you creatives out there. I hear a lot of people say, I don't really love the kits because I don't like to be locked into whatever their project is. I just like to do my own thing. Well, these are perfect because that's what this is designed for. You get all of these coordinating products, but no specific pre-cut pieces, no specific ideas. So the sky is the limit and you can play with them in any way you want to. So what you get with this product medley, you get the Flowering Cactus stamp set that has these adorable cactuses and the little flowers with some really cute greetings. My absolute favorite one is Life Can Get Kind of Prickly. That is fantastic. It's great for those situations when somebody's going through a hard situation and you don't really know what to say. I love that. And then some other ones. You are a rare friend, rare find, my dear friend. I love how our friendship has grown. Happy looks good on you. You'll see these on my card samples here in a minute. You get a coordinating die set. So there's one that goes with the large cactus, one that goes with this cactus, and then the flowers. This is a separate piece you can cut that doesn't coordinate with a stamp, that you can cut that cactus out, and then you could even pair it up and use this piece in a lot of different ways. This one does not cut on the edges. It just creates that imprint. So that could be used in a lot of different ways. Then you get a 48-piece designer paper pack that is double-sided, of course. And I love this because it's got some cactuses, but then it's got some floral prints, some basic designs. So if you're thinking like, well, I don't know what I would do with 48 pieces of cactus paper, well, don't worry because there's a lot of basic prints mixed in with these that you could use in other ways. So you get the paper pack, and then these are adorable. I'll show you these on my one of my projects here in a minute. They're pre-cut felt pieces. So they're the little flower embellishments that you can use on the cactuses, or you can use them on other projects as well. And you get 2 colors of linen thread. The linen thread is my absolute favorite. It's easy to tie. It is great on all kinds of projects. So let's look at a few samples I made, and then we're going to make one of these projects, and I'm going to show you how to use a masking technique to make it look like certain things are behind some of your stamped images. So I'll show you my really simple ones first, and I just used the designer papers on these to create the background. Then I use a greeting stamp. On this one I use those little felt embellishments to add a little something, and on this one I use some of that twine. So on this one I use the Happy Looks Good on You stamp. I stamped it quite a few times in different colors as I moved down and thought that was just a really nice basic card that you can see here. This one has nothing to do with I almost said cactuses, but it's cacti, isn't it? So you can definitely use this set in other ways as well, but the cacti are adorable. So I really like this print, so I wanted to use that on the background. And I use that greeting that I love. Life can get kind of prickly. I'm always here for you with some of those felt pieces. So those two are very simple. This one I just think is so pretty. It has the Christmas cactus print in the background. This was one of the designer paper prints, and I used the dies to cut it out. So this was really fast because all I had to do was cut it out and add it on here. And I used the greeting that says, "Hope your birthday is filled with beautiful things." And this is the card we're going to create in this video. That I created all of this with stamps. So you'll get to see how the cactus stamps work. And I chose that Magenta Madness color for the flowers, which I love. I love how bright it is. And I use the greeting that says, "You are a rare find, my dear friend." So let me tell you what we need to create this card in particular. We need a crumb cake card base that measures 5.5 by 8.5. We need a piece of that designer paper that measures 3 by 3.5. We need a piece of white that measures 2.5 by 4. You do need some scrap paper. We're going to create our masks by die cutting out the big cactus and the small cactus. So I did these out of Post-it notes so that they're sticky on the back. So they'll stay in place, and then a little bit of the twine and some rhinestones. So we'll get started on stamping these cacti first. So I have all of my stamps mounted on blocks already, and I have 4 colors of ink: Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, Crumb Cake, and Magenta Madness. So the first stamp, or the first cactus we want to stamp, is this one over here on the left side. See how it looks like it's in front? You want to stamp whatever looks like it's in front first. And then use the mask to cover it up. Now, if you wanted these to match perfectly, you would need to stamp the stamp and cut it out by hand. Because I use the dies, it's going to leave a little bit of a white border around the edge when I stamp the next one, and I'm okay with that. If I wanted it to look perfect, I could spend a little bit more time and cut it out by hand, but I am happy with the way it looks just like this, and it saves a little bit of time. So next, I want Just Jade for this big one. And I am actually, when I do this, I like to use my Stampin' Pierce mat or some kind of foam pad underneath just to give it a little bit of cushion. Since the stamping edge is no longer perfectly level because of that Post-it note right there, this just helps give it a little bit of cushion to try to get as much of this area over here stamped as possible, okay? And you can see a little bit of a white edge there, but like I said, I'm okay with that. If you don't like that, you can trim your masked piece down to exactly the size of the stamped image before you use it. Now I will cover this one up with this other mask, and I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. We're going to stamp this twice this time, and this is going to go off the edge a little bit. So I'll bring in some scrap paper, ink it up. I'm going to stamp one down here towards the bottom and a second one up here a little bit higher. Now we can remove these masks, and we will go on with stamping the flowers. So I have my Magenta Madness ink now. I have the double flower and then 2 single flowers in 2 different colors. So we'll do the big double one first. We'll stamp it right here with some full strength ink. And I'll explain that in a second if you're not sure what I'm talking about. We'll do this bigger flower right there. Now I'm going to grab the smaller flower, and it looks like all of the smaller flowers I stamped off before I stamped onto my project. So I'm going to stamp off there and then stamp onto my project to get a little bit lighter color. This is a nice way to get some extra use out of your ink pads because it looks like 2 different colors, but really it's just one. Okay, so I got all of those stamped on there. Now I'm going to use one of my new blending brushes. I love these. Stampin' Up! Just came out with these, and they are fantastic. But I didn't think this looked very desert-like with all the white background. So I'm going to ink this up on my pad and come in from the outside. Just using a swirling motion, and add this crumb cake color to the outsides, and mainly the spots that are still white. Do it up here on top as well. So you can add as much of this or as little as you like. And I like that a lot better. That looks a little bit more like a desert to me. So now we have that piece prepared, and this will be really easy to assemble. So I have my piece of designer paper. Put some adhesive on the back. Mount it down here. For the cactus piece, I popped it up with dimensionals. So I'll put one of the large dimensionals in each corner. Remove that paper backing. And we'll put this on right side up, not upside down. So we'll add that. Now let's stamp that greeting. It says, "You are a rare find, my dear friend." I did this with the Just Jade color. I do have a little bow that I created. I'm going to trim a little bit of that end off, and this bow is just kind of going all sorts of directions, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes I want it to look neat and tidy, but on this card, I think that looks perfectly fine. So I'll put just a tiny drop of glue there, and I'm going to let that set up a little bit while I put the rhinestones on. So these are just some of our basic rhinestones. You could add them anywhere you want, but I thought they would look cute in the centers of some of the flowers. Put one down here. And one over there. Add our twine, and as soon as that dries, this will be all done. So I thought that was a really cute way to use the stamps in this set. But again, I'm going to bring back in these other card samples to show you all the things I created with this Flowering Cactus product medley. So this is a really fun set in the new catalog. I hope this gives you some ideas of how to use the set. If you have questions about it, please let me know. You can get more ideas and inspiration on my blog at scrappingstampingandstuff.com. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again next time.